I think you can see the slide presentation was.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll see what is meant by rotational EMF. You have a metallic ring. Now inside the metallic ring, I think you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have a metallic rod, say OP, which is capable of moving inside a metallic ring. Now, one end of the metallic rod at point O is fixed or it's hinged. The other end P is capable of rotating with a constant angular speed omega. And this entire metallic ring with the metallic rod OP is placed inside a uniform magnetic field, or it's placed in a uniform magnetic field. Now, as the metallic rod is going to rotate, it cuts the magnetic field lines, because all your field lines are perpendicular to the plane of the page or the plane of the metallic ring. So as the metallic rod is rotating in the magnetic field, it cuts the magnetic field lines. So once it cuts the magnetic field line, an EMF is induced across the metallic rod OP, which means electromotive force. Now, what does this electromotive force do? This electromotive force motivates the electrons, free electrons in the metallic rod OP, to move from end O to the end P, so that a difference in potential is created, and because of this difference in potential, an induced current starts flowing through the metallic rod and hence the metallic ring. So the question is, what is the EMF developed between the center O, the point where the metallic rod is hinged, and the metallic ring? So as the metallic rod is rotating, right, it cuts the magnetic field lines, and hence an EMF is induced. What does the EMF do? Electromotive force. It motivates the electrons, free electrons, to move from the end O to the end P of the metallic rod. As the electrons move, they constitute an electric current. So electron can move only when the ends of the metallic rod are at different electric potential. So that is what we call it as EMF. Now they're asking you to derive an expression for it. Now, what we'll do is we'll take a part of the metallic rod of length dr. So the entire metallic rod OP has a length which is equal to the radius of the circular path. So let the length of the metallic rod be equal to r. Now we'll take a very small length of the segment of the rod of length dr. Now what is the EMF induced? See, the metallic rod is rotating, and EMF will be induced across the ends of the metallic rod. Let us find what is the EMF induced. EMF induced across the element. Right, boys. EMF induced. Just have a rough diagram. Have a rough diagram over here. EMF induced across the metallic rod OP. Across the element dr, element of length dr. So what is the general formula for motional EMF? E is equal to BLV, right, boys? So here it is a very small EMF induced across the small element dr. So that becomes equal to BV into the length becomes equal to dr. Is that clear, boys? E is equal to BLV is the motional EMF. So I can write this as DE is equal to, because the length of the element into consideration here, it is L is dr. Okay. So next, what will be the EMF induced across the entire rod? So EMF induced across the rod PQOP So you have to integrate between the limit 0 to r, right? The entire length of the metallic conductor. So here it becomes V is equal to R omega. So let me substitute. So 0 to R, B, R omega into dr. So the magnetic field is a constant. The rod is rotating with a constant angular speed. So B omega will be taken outside. So 0 to R, R dr. So you know the identity. Integral x dx is x squared by 2. So this becomes B R omega into R by 2, the whole R squared by 2, 0 to capital R, the limit. So it is B omega R squared, capital R squared by 2. First complete this, then we'll go for self-induction.
So is this rotational EMF?
Yeah, this is the rotational EMF. B omega R squared by 2.
Ma'am, and it doesn't have any motional EMF now, no? Only, is there only rotational EMF?
It's rotational EMF. Shall I go for the next one?
Ma'am, what do we write in this?
That's it. The motion, the EMF induced across the metallic rod is the final answer. If you substitute the limit, this will be the EMF induced. Have you completed? Shall I go for the other one? Boys, we'll solve a numerical and then we'll go for the self-induction. Shall I move?
Sure, ma'am.
Now look at this, a rectangular wire loop of side 8 centimeter. So L is 8 centimeter and the breadth is 2 centimeter with a small cut is moving out of a region of uniform magnetic field. That is, the value of B is 0.3 Tesla, directed normal to the loop. What is the EMF developed across the cut if the loop is moving with a velocity of 1 centimeter per second in a direction normal to the, which means in the first case, I'll take the second case, in a direction V normal to the longest side and V normal to the shorter side. How long does the induced voltage last in each case? Now let me go for this, the second case first. The EMF induced, E is equal to its motional EMF, boys, dLV. Now, which length, whether we have to take the length or whether we have to take the breadth. Now, that is a doubt over here. Always take the dimension where your velocity vector is perpendicular or normal. Here, your V vector is perpendicular to the length of the loop. Boys, here V vector is perpendicular to the length of the loop. So you have to check the dimension of the loop, where is your V vector perpendicular to, okay? So E becomes equal to, your field strength is 0.3, length is 8 into 10 to the power of minus 2, velocity is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 2. So E becomes equal to, I think, 2.4, 10 to the power of minus 5 volt. EMF is measured in voltage. Now comes, what is the time taken for the induced voltage to last? Only thing what you people have to consider here is whenever the coil is entering a loop and then continuing to move inside the magnetic field. Sorry, whenever a coil is entering a magnetic field and starts moving inside the magnetic field, or whenever the coil is leaving the magnetic field, only in these two cases an EMF will be induced, because when the coil enters the field or when the coil is leaving the field, the number of field lines passing through it keeps on changing. Hence, EMF is induced. Suppose the coil is well within the field. If the coil is moving well within the field with a constant velocity, field being uniform, there will be no change in flux, there will be no EMF induced. Is that clear, boys? Is that clear? 12B.
Ma'am, it has to be a constant velocity.
A constant velocity, field uniform. So when the coil is entering the field or when the coil is leaving the field, only then the flux linked with the coil will change, EMF will be induced. If the coil is moving well within the field, then there is no change in flux, no EMF induced. Now here you can see the coil is almost at the verge of the magnetic field. It's almost going to leave the magnetic field. So then as the coil is moving out, till the coil completely moves out of the magnetic field, the flux, the number of field lines passing through the coil is changing, hence an EMF is induced. Now in case 2, you can see the edge of the coil is almost near the edge of the magnetic field. So it's going to leave the magnetic field. Till it completely leaves the magnetic field, EMF keeps induced current flows. Now how long will it take place for the EMF to persist in the loop? So till it travels a distance of B meters. Is that clear, boys? Till the loop travels a distance of B meter. Once it travels a distance of B meter, it will be completely outside the magnetic field. Till that distance, your flux keeps on changing, EMF is induced. So now your time becomes equal to B by V. Is this clear, boys? So what is B? 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 by time is, velocity is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 2. So time becomes equal to 2 seconds. So here your EMF will last till 2 seconds. The moment the coil starts moving out until it completes traveling a distance of B meter, the time taken is 2 seconds. Only in 2 seconds there will be an EMF induced. Copy down, boys. Okay, I think so. It will take time.
Yeah.
See? Okay, I'll do that. Boys, now the question is, look at the loop. The loop is at the edge of the magnetic field. The loop is at the edge of the magnetic field. So when the loop is moving out of the magnetic field, suppose if I have a magnetic field like this. So when the loop is half the way inside the magnetic field, half the way it has traveled outside the field, but still magnetic field lines are there. Still magnetic field lines are there. So once the loop completely comes out of the magnetic field, then there will be no magnetic flux linked with the coil. Right, boys? See, when the loop is inside the magnetic field, you have magnetic field lines passing through it. As the loop is moving out of the magnetic field, slowly the number of field lines passing through it will decrease. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So when the coil is, say, I don't know whether, okay, fine, boys. Suppose I'll just draw this. Let me see. It should be, right, boys? I'm just giving an example. So when the loop is within the magnetic field, say there are 9 field lines passing through it. So when the loop is almost, when the loop is half the way inside the magnetic field, half the way outside the it's moving out. So how many field lines are there? 3 field lines. Is that not? Your field lines are keeping on decreasing. When the coil completely comes out, 0 field lines. See, the field lines means what? Flux. The flux is that the flux changing? When the coil is moving out, is that the flux is changing? The number of field lines passing through it changes. So as the number of field lines passing through the loop is changing, the flux is changing and EMF will be induced. So now the question is here in this last case, or the second case, how long does the voltage last in each case? The voltage will be lasting. Here, how many field lines are there? 1, 3, 4 field lines. Okay. When it is completely coming out, 0 field lines. When it is at the edge, what is the number of field lines? When it is at the edge of the magnetic field, the number of field lines is 4. When it is coming out of the field, the number of field lines passing through the loop is 0. So how long did the flux is decreasing from 4 to 0? What is the distance traveled? Distance traveled will be equal to the breadth. See, the flux is changing from a value of 4 to 0 until the coil loop travels a distance of b meters. So time will be equal to distance by velocity. So the time for which your EMF is going to last is the distance b by v. Now we'll go for the next one, the first case. Here E is equal to b, which length we have to take into consideration? The breadth, which is perpendicular to v vector, has to be taken into consideration. So it is v into capital small b. So E is equal to b. Right, boys? So B is, what is the value of B? 0.3. This is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 2 into 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2. So what will be the value? 6. Is it 6, boys?
Yes, ma'am. 6 into 10 raised to minus 5.
Minus 5 volt. Time taken will be, what will be the time taken? Distance by velocity. Here, the entire loop, if the entire loop has to come out of the magnetic field, it will travel a distance equal to L. Right, boys? See, your EMF will last as long as the loop is outside the field. The loop has to completely come out of outside the magnetic field. Your EMF will last till the loop completely comes out of the magnetic field. For that, it has to travel a distance of L meters in this case. So distance becomes L upon V. So what is L? 8 into 10 to the power of minus 2. V is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 2. So here time will be 8 seconds.
Ma'am, this answers for the first case, A.
This is the this is for the first case. In this concept, you will have lots of numerical, boys.
Ma'am, can you tell the final answers again for the second case?
Second case, E was 2.5, sorry, 2.4, 10 to the power of minus. And time was 2 seconds. Because distance was B by, time was B upon V.
Okay, ma'am.
Shall I go for the next concept, boys? Self-induction. Shall I go for the next one? Right, boss. Next one is self-induction heading. The next one is self-induction. Now you should know what do you mean by. I think mutual induction you have learned in grade 10. Now what is self-induction? Now look at this. You have a coil or the solenoid connected to a power supply, right? It's a direct power supply. Now what happens? Let us see. The moment you are going to switch on the circuit, please understand, boys. The moment you are switching on the circuit, say this battery is capable of maintaining a current of 5 ampere. The maximum current that can flow through the coil with this battery is 5 ampere. So when you are switching on the circuit, the current will not immediately reaches 5 ampere. The current is going to increase from 0 to 1 to 2 and then finally it reaches 5 amperes. This is called the growth of the current. All this takes place in nanoseconds. We will not be able to perceive. So the moment you switch on a circuit, the current flowing through the coil is going to increase from 0 ampere to 1 ampere to 2 and finally it reaches a steady state. Till then the current is going to increase. Now when the current increases, we very well know a current carrying conductor will produce a magnetic field. If the current itself is increasing, the magnetic field it produces will also increase. A current carrying solenoid produces a magnetic field. If the current passing through the coil is increasing, the strength of the magnetic field is going to increase. When the strength of the magnetic field increases, then the number of field lines also increases, boys. Because your field lines depicts the magnetic field. If the strength of the field increases, the number of field lines will increase. What do you mean by that? Number of field lines is flux. The flux linked with the coil, flux means the number of field lines passing through the coil, phi increases. Whenever there is a change in the magnetic field, an EMF is induced, right? Now this EMF, electromotive force, motivates the free electrons in the coil to move. That's the reason you get an induced current. And this phenomenon is called self-induction. Are you clear, boys? See, you're not bringing a magnet near the coil. Are you clear? You're not bringing a magnet near the coil. Only thing is that you're changing the current flowing through the coil. When the current flowing through the coil is changing, the magnetic field it creates will change. When the magnetic field changes, the number of field lines, that is your flux passing through the coil, will change. And because of this, when the flux changes, an EMF is induced, and because of an induced EMF, a current starts flowing. This process we call it as self-induction, right, boys? Heading self-induction, the phenomenon in which a changing current in a coil induces an EMF is called self-induction, and sometimes we call this EMF as back EMF. We'll see why it is called a back EMF, right? And then don't go for this, boys. The flux linked with the coil depends upon the current, yes or no? When the current increases, the strength of the field increases. When the strength of the field increases, then the number of field lines, the flux is also increasing. That is why phi is directly proportional to I, or I can write phi is equal to L into I. Now this constant of proportionality L is called the coefficient of self-induction or self-inductance, and we'll see how to derive an expression for it and how to define. So this constant of proportionality L is called coefficient of self-induction. Self-induction. and it depends on the geometry of the coil. Right, boys? This depends on the geometry of the coil. It's called coefficient of self-induction. Shall we go for the next one? Yes. Shall I go? Yes.
Ma'am, is this for one turn of the coil?
Yeah, this is for a single loop.
Okay, ma'am.
Fine, boys. Now we'll go for the next one. And now we'll define, define coefficient of self-induction or self-inductance. Either you can define this as self-inductance or coefficient of self-induction. This is just a definition because there are certain definition-based questions. This is one. Right, boys? Look at this. Phi is equal to L into I. Now, if I is equal to 1 ampere, then phi becomes equal to IL. So how will I define L? L is numerically equal to the magnetic flux flow passing through the coil when a current of 1 ampere passes through the coil. So hence the coefficient of self-induction of a coil is numerically equal to the magnetic flux linked with the coil when unit current is flowing through the coil. Please write, boys. Write phi is equal to L into I. If I is equal to 1 ampere, phi becomes equal to L, and then start defining. Write this formula and then put the condition and then you define. So phi becomes equal to L. Okay. Next, shall I go for the next one? Okay. Shall I go for the next one? Boys, what is EMF induced in the coil? One second. What will be the EMF induced in the coil? E is equal to minus d phi by dt, right? So E is equal to minus d by dt of what is phi? Phi is equal to L into I. So it is L into I. L is a constant. So E is equal to minus L di by dt, or I can write, I'm taking only the magnitude. So L into di by dt when the current flowing through the coil is changing at the rate of 1 ampere per second. When the current increases or decreases by 1 ampere every second, then your coefficient of self-induction L is numerically equal to the magnitude of the EMF induced. Okay, let's copy down. EMF induced E is equal to minus d phi by dt, rate of change of magnetic flux. Flux is equal to L into I, substitute. L is a constant. So it is, now how will I define this, boys? How will I define? The coefficient of self-induction, the coefficient of self-induction is numerically equal to the magnitude of the EMF induced when the current flowing through it changes at the rate of 1 ampere per complete this course. B, are you all there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Complete this, boys. Now we'll derive an expression for self-inductance. Have you completed? Shall I go for the next one, boys? Shall I go for the next one? So your current has to change at the rate of 1 ampere per second. Now let us go for deriving an expression for self-inductance or the coefficient of self-induction. Once. Okay. Boys, I have to derive an expression because L depends upon the dimension of the coil. It depends on the parameters of your coil. Now look at this. You have a solenoid of length L. N is the total number of turns. L is the length of your solenoid. Then small n is the number of turns per unit length. N is number of turns per unit length, which is equal to N by L. Okay. Now, look at this. Along the axis of the solenoid, your magnetic field vector is along the axis. Area vector is perpendicular to the circular turn, right? So B vector and A vector are in the same direction. So the magnetic flux is equal to BA cos 0. So phi becomes equal to B into A. The magnetic flux, if there are n number of turns, the magnetic flux becomes equal to NBA. So what is the strength of the magnetic field along the axis of the coil? B is equal to mu naught N into I. So what is N? Small n, it's the number of turns per unit, I. Now substitute this, phi becomes equal to N into mu naught. I'm substituting for B, N by L, I into A. So phi becomes equal to mu naught N squared A by L into I. Or what is L? L is equal to phi by I. So that is equal to mu naught N square A divided by L. So this is the inductance of the coefficient of self-inductance of the coil. Should I write it properly in another slide, boys? Boys, should I write it properly in the other slide, or is it fine?
Yes, ma'am. Can you just like write it on a new slide because I can't make out like
Okay.
the order.
Okay. Anyway, I'm writing it over here. So you have a current carrying solenoid. Okay. So I'll just go for the flux linked with flux. It's magnetic flux. Magnetic flux linked. So magnetic flux linked with the coil. So what is magnetic flux here? Phi is equal to Bn, because number of turns, NBA cos 0. So phi is equal to N, because B vector and A vector are in the same direction. So it is NBA. Okay. So then magnetic flux, so the magnetic field along the axis of the solenoid. So along the axis of the solenoid, B is equal to mu naught N into I. So small n is the number of turns per unit length. I can write this as mu naught N by L into I. So I'm substituting the value of B in the equation for phi. So phi becomes equal to mu naught N squared by L A into I. Okay. Then we very well know phi is equal to L into I, or L is equal to phi divided by I. So that is the coefficient of self-induction. So phi, it is mu naught N squared by I will get cancelled. So look at the value of the coefficient of self-induction. It depends upon the total number of turns. It depends upon the length of the coil. It depends upon the area of cross-section of the coil. At the same time, it depends upon what is the material, nature of the material inside the current carrying solenoid. Mu naught N squared by L into A. So this is, L is called coefficient of self-induction, or just coefficient of self-induction.
Ma'am, what's the diagram that we should draw for this?
No need for a diagram, boys. You can just, it will be only a current carrying solenoid. If at all you need to draw, it should be only a current carrying solenoid. You draw a current carrying solenoid. Okay. I think I have 5 more minutes. I'll finish off the energy stored in a magnetic field. I'll erase this. Okay, right, boys. Energy stored in a energy stored in a current carrying solenoid, or energy stored in a coil. Right, boys. Subheading, energy stored in a coil or energy stored in a magnetic field. Now look at this. Let us explain, and then we'll go for what will be the energy stored. Now what we have seen, when the current passing through the coil, boys, when the current passing through the coil, whether it is increasing or decreasing, then what happens? The magnetic field set along the coil will increase. When the magnetic field is going to increase, the flux is going to change. When the flux is changing, an EMF is induced. When the EMF is induced, that motivates the electrons to move. You will have the induced current. So there will be an induced current flowing. Now, what is the nature of the induced current? According to your Lenz's law, this induced current opposes the cause which is producing it. But I have a coil. The current through the coil is increasing. I'm having a coil. I'm making the current flowing through the coil to increase. So when the current flowing through the coil is increasing, the magnetic field it creates will increase. If the magnetic field is increasing, the number of field lines increases. Hence, your flux is increasing. So since the flux is changing, an EMF is induced in the coil, which motivates the free electrons in the coil to move, and induced current flows the coil. Now, what is the nature of this induced current as per Lenz's law? This induced current opposes the cause which is producing it. Now, what is the cause which produces it? The cause is your increasing current. The cause is the increasing current. The induced current doesn't want the current flowing through the coil to increase. So if you want to maintain the flow of current, or if you want to maintain the current to increase, then you have to do work against this induced current. You have to do work in order to make the
Ma'am,
current
it's
to
break
increase.
right now.
Okay, fine. Fine, boys, you can leave.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, boys.